full screen na sa inyo?
Yes po, Doc.
Okay, sige. Okay, so once again, good afternoon. I'm Dr. Salafranca. So today we'll be having the second long exam feedback. So if you have any questions, please take note of the numbers and forward na lang sa department. Kasi medyo mahaba din yung items. It's 125 items. So in order to finish most, if not all, of the questions. So para aware din kayo dun sa mga answers. Okay? So let's start. Kailangan tatanggalin ko lang yung... Okay, so number 1. Which of the following is a characteristic of true labor? So A, if the duration of the contractions is duration of contractions of 20 to 30 seconds, intermittent hypogastric pain, interval of uterine contractions of 3 to 10 minutes, and D, if with progressive cervical dilatation. So answer is D, progressive cervical dilatation. 2. In a flex fetal head, what is the shortest diameter that is ideal for vaginal delivery? Is it occipitofrontal, occipitomental, suboccipitobregmatic? Low bregmatic. So answer is C, suboccipitobregmatic. Third question, what cardinal movement of labor has occurred if on internal examination, the leading part of the fetal cranium is at the level of the ischial spines? Is it engagement, descent, flexion, or internal rotation? Answer is engagement. Next number. Which cardinal movement enables the shortest diameter of the fetal head to present? Is it descent, flexion, internal rotation, or extension? So answer is letter B, flexion. Fifth number, what stage of labor starts from full cervical dilatation up to fetal delivery? Is it the first stage, second stage, maximum slope, or the deceleration stage? So answer is second stage. Next, if the distance between the inferior border of the symphysis pubis to the sacral promontory is 12 centimeter, what is the obstetric conjugate in centimeters? Is it 9 to 9.5, 10 to 10.5, 11 to 11.5, 12 to 12.5? So i-minus nyo lang yung 1.5 to 2. Answer is letter B, 10 to 10.5. What is the fetal lie and presentation if the head occupies the fundus and the back is at the maternal right side? Is it longitudinal cephalic, longitudinal breech, right acromion transverse, left acromion transverse? So answer is longitudinal breech. Next, interpret the clinical pelvimetry findings. An obstetric conjugate at 11 centimeter. The ischial spines are prominent and medial to the ischial tuberosities. The intertuberous diameter of 9 centimeter and subpubic angle of more than 90 degrees. Is it a contracted inlet, contracted mid-plane, contracted outlet, or is it an adequate pelvis? So answer is a mid-plane. Next, on inspection of a medial episiotomy, the following were noted. The lower rectal mucosa was severed and the external anal sphincter retracted laterally and inferiorly. What is the degree of laceration? Is it a first degree laceration, second degree laceration, third degree, or fourth degree laceration? So, rectal. So the answer is fourth degree laceration. Next. A 28-year-old terminally gravid consulted because of regular contractions of 4 hours. Vital signs are stable with fetal heart rate of 150 beats per minute, IE revealed 3 centimeters, cephalic station -2 intact membranes. Which of the following is recommended? First is insert an intravenous line. B, reevaluation after 2 hours. C, rupture the membranes. D, start oxytocin. So the answer is letter B, reevaluation after 2 hours. Okay. 11. A 30-year-old gravida 1 was admitted in labor with an internal examination of 6 centimeters, cephalic, station -1, intact membranes. After 2 hours, the cervix was 7 centimeters, station -1 with intact membranes. What is the best management? A, do we advise maternal pushing? B, observe for another 2 hours? C, rupture the membranes? Or D, start the patient on oxytocin? Answer is we should rupture the membranes. Next. A multi-gravid patient just delivered vaginally and oxytocin was immediately started after 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, intermittent uterine relaxation was noted with moderate vaginal bleeding. What should be done next? A. Maximize the dose of oxytocin. B. Give methyl ergometrin maleate. C. Uterine massage. D. Hysterectomy. Answer is do uterine massage. Okay. Number 13. What station of the fetal head confirms that engagement has occurred? Is it -2, -1, 0, or +1? So answer is 0. What is the stage of labor that includes the immediate postpartum period? Is it the first stage, the second stage, the third stage, or is the fourth stage? So answer is the fourth stage. 15. Which of the following is recommended for the first stage of labor? A. Is it amniotomy? B. Is it enema? C. Perineal shaving? D. An upright position. So answer is upright position. Next, which of the following is not part of EINC? A. Is it administered uterotonic? B. Immediate drying? C. Proper cord clamping and cutting? D. Is it skin to skin contact? Answer is administer uterotonic. Next number. Which cardinal movement ensures passage of fetal head in between the ischial spines? Is it A. Engagement, B. Flexion, C. Internal rotation, D. External rotation? Answer is internal rotation. Next. Which cardinal movement replaces the occipitofrontal diameter of the fetal head with the suboccipitobregmatic diameter? Is it engagement, descent, flexion, or extension? Answer is flexion. Next. Which cardinal movement involves the symphysis pubis as a fulcrum? Is it flexion, B. Internal rotation, C. Extension, D. External rotation. So answer is extension. Next. Which of the following is is not a benefit of early skin to skin contact? A. It allows colonization with good bacteria. B. It facilitates bonding between mother and child. C. It promotes breastfeeding initiation. D. It prevents infant anemia. Okay, so answer is letter D. It prevents infant anemia. 21. Which of the following pregnant women can be managed in a primary care facility? A. Is it a 37-year-old Gravida 3 para 2 2002 with no comorbidities? B. Is it a 28-year-old Gravida 4 para 4 with 3 abortions? 3. C. Is it a 33-year-old Gravida 2 para 1 1001 with a history of urinary tract infection? D. Is it a 16-year-old Gravida 1 G1? Answer is it's letter C, a 33-year-old G2 P1 1001 with a history of UTI. Next. A 27-year-old Gravida 2 para 1 1001 presents at a primary care facility with a 7-hour history of passage of watery vaginal discharge. Speculum examination confirms pooling of amniotic fluid. Cervix is at 1 centimeters dilatation. So what is the next step? A. Advise home delivery. B. Admit for augmentation of labor. C. Refer to a higher facility. D. Send home to wait for regular contractions. Answer is C. Refer to a higher facility. 23. A newborn on a mother's chest was noted to be opening his mouth and licking his lips. What should be done next? A. Administer eye prophylaxis. B. Full body bath. C. Initiate breastfeeding. D. Inject with vitamin K and vaccines. Answer is initiate breastfeeding. Next, 24. What is the correct order for EINC? Is it A. Cord clamping, non-separation, drying, skin to skin? B. Is it drying, skin to skin, non-separation, cord clamping? C. Is it non-separation, drying, cord clamping, and skin to skin? D. Is it skin to skin, drying, cord clamping, non-separation? So answer is B. Drying, skin to skin, non-separation, cord clamping. How many hours of no progress in cervical dilatation in spite of good contractions defines an arrest in cervical dilatation? Is it 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, or 6 hours? Answer is 4 hours. What is the management for a term fetus in mentum posterior? A is a trial of labor. B is it external cephalic version. C is it assisted vaginal delivery. Or D is it cesarean section. Answer is cesarean section. Which is a prerequisite to cesarean section for arrest in cervical dilatation? A. Administration of oxytocin. B. Cervical dilatation of at least 5 centimeters. C. Good uterine contractions for 4 hours. D. Intact bag of waters. Answer, good contractions for 4 hours. Next. What is the purpose of the Marishu maneuver for the after coming head in breech delivery? A. Extension. B. Flexion. C. Rotation. D. Traction. So answer is B. Flexion. 29. Which of the following labor abnormalities in cesarean delivery is contraindicated? A. Ay, sorry. Pala kumalaw. A. Arrest in cervical dilatation. B. Arrest in descent. C. Prolonged deceleration. D. Protracted cervical dilatation. Answer. It's protracted cervical dilatation. 30. A parturient at 4 centimeter cervical dilatation was given sedation for intolerable labor pains. What is the most likely consequence? A. Arrest in descent. B. Prolonged deceleration. C. Prolonged latent phase. D. Protracted cervical dilatation. Answer is prolonged latent phase. So this is a partogram of a term primigravid. So what is the diagnosis? Is it A, normal, B, arrest in descent, C, failure in descent, or D, prolonged deceleration phase? Answer, it's arrest in descent. Again, this is a partogram of a term primigravid. What is the diagnosis? Normal, arrest and descent, prolonged deceleration phase, D, prolonged second stage. Answer, prolonged deceleration phase. Next, 33. Which of the following malpresentation types is at highest risk for cord prolapse? A. Is it a breach that is complete or complete breach? B. Footling breach. C. Face mentum posterior. D. Shoulder back up. Answer, it's shoulder back up, meaning transverse to. Transverse na back up. Next, after vaginal delivery of the fetal head in a diabetic parturient, the head retracted immediately towards the perineum. What is the best action? A. Apply progressive traction on the head. B. Apply suprapubic pressure. C. Do an episiotomy. D. Hyperflex the hips and knees. Answer, it's hyperflex the hips and knees. Next, during oxytocin augmentation, there was a note of tachysystole and fetal heart rate of 80 beats per minute. On physical exam, BP was 80 over 60, heart rate of 110 per minute. Fetal station changed from 0 to -3. What is the best management? Do an abdominal delivery, give tocolytics, hook to a fetal monitor, RD, stop oxytocin infusion. Answer, do abdominal delivery. Next, findings in a multigravid 38 weeks age of gestation showed cervix 9 centimeters dilated, shoulder presentation, intact membranes. What is the best management? A. Cesarean delivery. B. External cephalic version. C. Trial of labor. D. Vacuum extraction. Answer, cesarean delivery. Next. 30-year-old Gravida 2 para 11001 with a previous low transverse cesarean section for fetal distress. 3 years ago, now consults at 37 weeks age of gestation regarding her delivery. Physical exam showed a fundic height of 29 centimeters, cephalic, cervix closed, pelvis adequate. What is the best action? A. Await onset of labor for another evaluation. B. Propose trial of labor and vaginal birth after cesarean section. C. Recommend a repeat cesarean delivery. D. Warn her that the risk of uterine rupture is high. Answer. Propose a trial of labor and vaginal birth after cesarean section. Next. Which of the following is true about preterm labor? A. Cervical length of 3 centimeters is likely to deliver preterm. B. History of preterm birth is not a significant factor in the current pregnancy. C. Intraamniotic infection is the most common cause of preterm labor. D. Polyhydramnios is a risk factor for preterm labor. Answer, it's D. Polyhydramnios is a risk factor for preterm labor. Next, which of the following condition is considered a long-term morbidity in infants delivered preterm? A. Is it cerebral palsy? B. Hypoglycemia? C. Necrotizing enterocolitis? D. Respiratory distress syndrome. Answer, it's cerebral palsy. What is the maximum age of gestation for magnesium sulfate to be given in preterm labor? A. 30. B. 32. C. 34. D. 36. Answer B. 32 weeks. Okay, next. Which finding is most consistent with preterm labor? A. Is it increased Braxton Hicks contractions? B. Regular contractions with cervical change? C. Uterine contractions with closed cervix? D. Watery vaginal discharge with no contractions. Answer is B. Regular contractions with cervical change. Next, what is the primary goal of giving magnesium sulfate in preterm labor? A. Decrease neonatal jaundice. B. Decrease risk for cerebral palsy. C. Enhance fetal lung maturity. D. Prevent fetal hypoglycemia. Answer B. Decreases risk for cerebral palsy. Next, which of the following is true regarding antenatal corticosteroid administration? A. It accelerates fetal lung maturity. B. It increases the risk of neonatal infection. C. It is not useful before 34 weeks. D. It should be used if delivery is certain within 6 hours. Answer, it accelerates the fetal lung maturity. Next, which corticosteroid regimen is recommended for the management of preterm labor? A. Betamethasone 12 milligrams intramuscularly every 24 hours for 2 doses. B. Dexamethasone 6 milligrams intramuscularly every 6 hours for 2 doses. C. Hydrocortisone 100 milligram intravenous every 8 hours for 2 doses. D. Prednisone 60 milligrams intravenous every 12 hours times 2 doses. So answer is A. Betamethasone 12 milligrams IM every 24 hours for 2 doses. Next, which of the following is least likely to be a complication of post-term pregnancy? A. Intraamniotic infection. B. Meconium aspiration syndrome. C. Oligohydranus. D. Shoulder dystocia. Answer is A. Intraamniotic infection. Next, for this 30-year-old, 28 weeks age of gestation came in due to watery discharge and regular contractions. Cervix is 4 centimeters with ruptured bag of water, which is not a management option. A. Administer steroids. B. Give antibiotic. C. Give magnesium sulfate. D. Perform cerclage. So answer is D. Perform cerclage. Next. A 31-year-old G2P11001 at 32 weeks age of gestation came in due to moderate contractions every 10 minutes. Cervix is 2 centimeters dilated, 60% effaced with intact membranes. What is the best management? A. Administer tocolytics. B. Perform cesarean delivery. C. Send home. D. Start oxytocin. Answer is administer tocolytics. Next, what is the most common fetal complication that increases linearly after 42 weeks? A. Cerebral palsy. B. Neonatal jaundice. C. Stillbirth. D. Umbilical hernia. Answer is C. Stillbirth. Next. A 28-year-old G1, 42 weeks age of gestation, came in for prenatal checkup. Vital signs are stable with no contractions. By physical score is 10 over 10. What is the next best management? A. Admit for induction of labor. B. Admit for cesarean section. C. Expectant management until 43 weeks. D. Repeat BPS after 1 week. Answer is A. Admit for induction of labor. Next. A 25-year-old Gravida 1, 41 weeks and 2 days, came in due to decreased fetal movement with irregular contractions. CTG tracing shows absent variability with late decelerations. What is the best management? A. Hydrate 125 cc per hour. B. Immediate cesarean section. C. Induction of labor with oxytocin. D. Place on left lateral decubitus. Answer is immediate cesarean delivery. Next. Which of the following defines uterine tachysystole? A. Contractions every 3 minutes. B. Contractions lasting more than 90 seconds. C. More than 5 contractions in 10 minutes. D. Intrauterine pressure more than 180 millimeter mercury. So answer is C. More than 5 contractions. Next, which of the following is a complication of amyotomy? A. Cord prolapse. B. Chorioamnionitis. C. Meconium staining. D. Scalp injury. Answer, cord prolapse. A 56-year-old Gravida 1, 38 weeks age of gestation with PROM of 4 hours. Cervix is 1 centimeters dilated, mid-position with medium consistency, 40% effaced, cephalic, station -3, ruptured membranes. What is the Bishop score? A3, B4, C5, D6. Answer is 4. Next. Which of the following is an absolute contraindication to labor induction? A. Active genital herpes. B. Gestational diabetes. C. Oligohydranus. D. Post-term pregnancy. Answer is A. Active genital herpes. So next, number Which of the following is not a risk factor for PROM? A. BMI of more than 30. B. Cigarette smoking. C. Nutritional deficiency. D. Bacterial vaginosis. Answer: BMI of more than 30. Next. Which of the following warrants labor induction? A. Gravidad 3 para 2, 36 weeks. Internal examination is 4 centimeters, 50% cephalic, station minus 3 intact membranes. B. Gravida 1, 37 weeks with an amniotic fluid index of 6 centimeters on ultrasound. Um, C. Gravida 2 para 1, 1001, 39 weeks with gestational hypertension. D. G2P1 1001, 38 weeks. Previous CS for dystocia and internal exam of 1 centimeters ruptured membranes. So answer is C. Gravida 2 para 1, 39 weeks with gestational hypertension. What is the most reliable sign for diagnosing ruptured membranes? A. Ferning pattern on microscopy of vaginal fluid. B. History of watery vaginal discharge. C. Pooling of amniotic fluid on speculum exam. D. Positive nitrogen test of vaginal discharge. Answer is pooling of amniotic fluid on speculum exam. Next, which is the strongest risk factor for recurrent PROM? A. Maternal age more than 35 years old. B. Previous history of PROM. C. Smoking during pregnancy. D. Short pregnancy interval. So, answer is B. Previous history of PROM. Next, 35-year-old Gravida 1 para 0, 38 weeks. Because of watery vaginal discharge of 1 hour, patient is afebrile with frank pooling of fluid in the posterior fornix. Cervix is 1 centimeters dilated with ruptured membranes. Clinical pelvimetry is adequate. Estimated fetal body weight 2,800 grams by Johnson's. What is the best management? So expectant management, hydration and an IV antibiotics, induction of labor, or D, emergency cesarean section. So answer is induction of labor. Next, which of the following is an induction of labor contraindicated? A, gestational diabetes. B, preeclampsia. C, previous ectopic pregnancy. D, previous myomectomy. Answer: previous myomectomy. Which of the following is a side effect of prostaglandin E2 when given for cervical ripening? A. Tachyarrhythmia. B. Tachycardia. C. Tachypnea. D. Tachysystole. Answer: D. Tachysystole. Next. In which of the following is considered the most effective and safest method for cervical ripening in a patient with unfavorable cervix? A. Amyotomy. B. Membrane stripping. D. Prostaglandin. D. Oxytocin. Answer: C. Prostaglandin. Next. Which of the following is not a diagnostic method for confirming PROM? A. Amniotic fluid pooling during speculum examination. B. Ferning test. C. Nitrogen test. D. Ultrasound. Next. Answer: D. Ultrasound. 64. At what age of at what AOG in weeks is the type of chronicity of twin pregnancy best assessed? A. Before 14 weeks. B. 20 to 24 weeks. C, 28 to 32 weeks. D, after 32 weeks. Answer, before 14 weeks. Next. Which of the following supports the diagnosis of twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome? A, death of a twin. B, dichorionic diamnionic diamniotic placenta. C, malformed twin. D, polyhydramnios oligohydramnios. Answer, it's polyhydramnios oligohydramnios. Next, a 35-year-old multigravid underwent ultrasound at 12 weeks, AOG, revealing monochorionic monoamnionic twins. How many days after fertilization did zygote division occur? Is it A, 0 to 4, B, 4 to 8 to 12, or D, more than 13? Answer is C, 8 to 12. Next. What is the type of twinning if division of the zygote occurs 1 week after fertilization? Di-di, uh, dizygotic, dichorionic, diamnionic. If monozygonic, letter B, dichorionic, diamnionic. C, monozygotic, monochorionic, diamnionic. D, monomono. So answer is C. Next, a 28-year-old pregnant gravid consulted at 20 weeks age of gestation. On CE, the fundic height is 24 centimeters. What is or are the consideration? A, multi-fetal pregnancy, gestation. B, polyhydramnios. C, wrong dating of pregnancy. D, all of the above. Answer, all of the above. Next, 69. During prenatal consults of a patient with multi-fetal gestation, which of the following is routinely done? A, ask about danger signs of pregnancy to detect complications. B, internal examination to check for cervical dilatation. C, speculum exam to rule out genital infection. D, weekly ultrasound to assess growth of the twins. Answer is A, ask about danger signs of pregnancy to detect complications. Next, a 36-year-old multigravida diagnosed during pregnancy consulted at 35 weeks for prenatal checkup. How is the presentation of the twins best assessed? A, is it by abdominal X-ray? B, internal examination. C, Leopold's maneuver. D, ultrasound. Answer, D, ultrasound. Next, a 38-year-old uh, multigravid was diagnosed to have a 13-week twin pregnancy during routine ultrasound. Aside from dating the pregnancy and assessing the type of cardiognicity, what additional ultrasound procedure can be done at this time? A, is it baseline Doppler velocimetry? B, is it a comprehensive congenital anomaly scan? C, nuchal translucency measurement. D, placental localization and proximity to the internal os. Answer, nuchal translucency measurement. Okay. So nuchal translucency are done from 11 to 14 weeks. Next. What is the percentage growth disturbance if the estimated fetal weight of twin A is 2,600 grams and 1,800 grams for twin B? A, 15, B, 20, C, 25, D, 30. Answer, 30%. Next, a 28-year-old with no comorbidities, G3P2 2002 at 35 weeks, AOG diagnosed with die pregnancy, asked about the manner of delivery. How should the patient be advised? A. Elective cesarean if she is desirous of tubal ligation, regardless of fetal presentation. B. Elective cesarean uh, is recommended regardless of the presentation of the twins. C. Elective CS to ensure that the pediatrician is present during the procedure. D. Vaginal delivery may be considered if both twins are cephalic. So answer is D. Vaginal delivery may be considered if both twins are cephalic. Next. A 36-year-old Gravida 2 para 1001 was noted to have monochorionic twins at 8 weeks. When is the recommended follow-up ultrasound in the rationale? A. Is it an 11 to 14 weeks to check nuchal translucency? B. 15 to 17 weeks to assess growth of twins? C. 18 to 20 weeks for a baseline Doppler velocimetry? D. 22 to 24 weeks for congenital anomaly scan? Answer: 11 to 14 weeks to check for nuchal translucency. Okay, next. A primigravid at 35 weeks AOG with a dichorionic pregnancy consulted because of regular labor pains. Which of the following should be done initially? A. Alert the operating room for emergency cesarean section. B. Assess cervical dilatation and effacement. C. Do photography to check if with fetal heart tones are reassuring. D. Request ultrasound to assess presentation and growth discordancy. So answer is B. Assess cervical dilatation and effacement. Next. A 30-year-old primigravid 15 weeks AOG was noted to have phonic height at the level of the umbilicus. What additional questions should be asked in the history? A. History of twinning in the family. B. Intake of fertility pills. C. Regularity of the menstrual cycle. D. All of the above. So answer it's all of the above. Next, number 77. Which of the following condition increases risk of for uterine rupture? A. Is it history of tubal ligation? B. Previous myomectomy. C. Outlet forceps extraction. D. Use of tocolytics. So answer is previous myomectomy. Next. What uterotonic should be avoided if a patient has hypertension? A. Dinoprostone. B. Misoprostol. C. Methyl ergonovine. D. Oxytocin. Okay, so answer is methyl ergonovine. Next. Which of the following factors increases the risk for uterine atony? A. Epidural anesthesia. B. Polyhydramnios. C. Previous curettage. D. Smoking. Answer is polyhydramnios. 80. A 39-year-old Gravida 1 para 1 has sudden chest pain and vaginal bleeding after delivery of the placenta. BP is 80/40, RR is 30, temperature is 36.5. What is the most likely diagnosis? A. Is it abruptio placenta? B. Amniotic fluid embolism. C. Placenta previa. D. sepsis syndrome. Answer: amniotic fluid embolism. Next. A G5P4 36 weeks AOG with previous classical cesarean section complains of severe abdominal pain after strong uterine contractions. What is the management? Do vaginal delivery. B. Emergency cesarean section. C. Give tocolytics. D. Request for ultrasound. Answer: emergency cesarean section. Next. A G4P3 3003 36 weeks AOG known smoker complains of sudden abdominal pain and vaginal bleeding. BP is 160 over 110. There is tenderness on pelvic examination. What is the diagnosis? A. Abruptia placenta. B. Placenta previa. C. Uterine rupture. D. Vasa previa. Answer: Abruptia placenta. Next. 38-year-old gravida 3 para 2, 28 weeks, AOG, smoker, has moderate painless vaginal bleeding. She has one previous CS delivery. What is the diagnosis? A. Abruptia placenta. B. Placenta previa. C. Uterine rupture. D. Vasa previa. Painless vaginal bleeding. So answer is placenta previa. Next. A centimeter deep bleeding laceration is noted at the middle third of the vagina. After forceps delivery, what is the best management? A. Apply hemostatic agents. B. Give tranexamic acid while bleeding. C. Place vaginal pack for 24 hours. D. Suture repair the laceration. Answer: Suture repair the laceration. Next. G1 undergoes emergency cesarean section for abruptia placenta. A purplish blue uterus is noted. What is the diagnosis? Cavalier uterus, B. Uterine atony, C. Uterine ischemia, D. Uterine necrosis. Answer: Cavalier uterus. Next. A G9P9 has vaginal bleeding after closing the uterine incision during cesarean section. BP is 70 over 50. Uterus is still boggy despite uterotonics. What is the best management? A. Abdominal hysterectomy. B. Bilateral uterine artery ligation. C. External iliac artery embolization. D. Compression sutures. Answer: Abdominal hysterectomy. Next. Which is true about placenta accreta? A. Absence of intraplacental lacunae on sonography. B. It is associated with previous cesarean delivery. C. It is due to the development of the Nitabox layer. D. Placental villi have invaded the myometrium. Answer: B. It is associated with previous cesarean delivery. Okay, next. The G1P1 complains of perineal pain after episiotomy. A 5 by 5 centimeter tender bluish mass is localized at the right perineum extending to the right labia majora. What is the type of hematoma? A. Retroperitoneal. B. Supravaginal. C. Paravaginal. D. Vulvar. So answer is D. Vulvar. 89. Which analgesic method is specifically required to block the intense somatic pain of the late second stage, perineal stretching S2 to S4? A. Acupuncture. B. Inhalational nitrous oxide at 50%. C. Systemic analgesia. D. Pudendal nerve block. Answer: Pudendal nerve block. Okay, 90. Compared to the non-pregnant patient, what primary physiological change will lead to a faster arterial oxygen desaturation in pregnant patients? A. Decreased cardiac output. B. Decreased metabolic oxygen consumption. C. Reduced functional residual capacity. D. Soft tissue vascular friability. Answer: C. Reduced functional residual capacity. Next. Which of the following are absolute contraindications to the performance of neuroaxial block? A. Headache with increased ICP. B. Prophylactic. Low molecular weight heparin 24 hours prior. C. Severe blood loss. D. Untreated maternal sepsis. Answer: B. Prophylactic. Low molecular weight heparin. Next. Which method of analgesia allows for continuous titrable an adjustment of pain relief and may be utilized during the intrapartum and postpartum periods. A. Continuous epidural analgesia. B. Inhalational nitrous oxide. C. IV opioids via patient-controlled analgesia. D. Single-shot spinal block. Answer: continuous epidural analgesia. Next. A patient at 38 weeks gestation lies supine in preparation for a spinal block. What is the most effective and primarily non-pharmacological method of prevention and treatment of supine hypotension syndrome? A. Administering vasopressors such as IV ephedrine. B. Applying compressive stockings. C. Preloading with crystalloid fluids. D. Putting a uterine wedge under the right hip. Answer: D. Putting uterine wedge under the right hip. Next. At 24-year-old gravida 1 para 0 at 39 weeks, AOG is 5 centimeters dilated with regular contractions. She has no significant medical history, vital signs are stable, and fetal monitoring is reassuring. What is the most appropriate analgesic technique to offer at this stage of labor? A. Epidural. B. General. C. Spinal. D. Systemic. Answer: epidural. Next. What spinal cord segments should be blocked to provide adequate analgesia for a G1 with cervical dilatation of 2 to 3 centimeters and dull abdominal pain from irregular contraction? A. L2 to S1. B. S2 to S4. C. T10 to L1. D. P4 to T8. Answer: T10 to L1. Pregnant patients have decreased lower esophageal sphincter tone and delayed gastric emptying. What technique prevents reflux during induction of general anesthesia? A. Palagmalaw. A. Trendelenburg position. B. Nasogastric tube insertion. C. Left uterine displacement. D. Rapid sequence induction with cricoid pressure. So answer is D. Rapid sequence. Next. 9. A patient in active labor requires operative vaginal delivery. She refused to have neuroaxial anesthesia. Which of the following is the next most viable anesthetic option to provide effective somatic relief for the delivery? A. General. B. Pudendal. C. Systemic. D. Transcutaneous electrical nerve stimulation. Answer: pudendal nerve block. Next. During cesarean section under spinal anesthesia, the patient suddenly complains of difficulty of breathing, becomes hypotensive, and loses consciousness. The anesthesiologist suspects a high spinal block. What is the immediate next step in management? Administer intralipid, administer more spinal anesthetic, administer naloxone, intubate, and support airway. Answer: intubate and support airway. Next. A patient underwent vaginal delivery under saddle block anesthesia. 2 hours after delivery, she has no urine output despite having a distended bladder with a strong urge to void. She was able to move her legs but claims her perineum was still numb. Which of the following is the most appropriate management for the patient? A. Aggressive IV fluid resuscitation until with urine output. B. Refer to neurosurgery for possible spinal hematoma. Do alternating warm and cold compress on the hypogastrium until able to void. D. Do intermittent straight catheterization while with residual block over S2 to S4. Next. Answer D. Do intermittent straight catheterization. 100. A 25-year-old woman receives an epidural for labor. Clear fluid is seen during neuroaxial puncture and CSF is confirmed. She delivers vaginally but complains of a severe frontal headache 24 hours postpartum that worsens when upright. What is the most definitive management of her symptoms? A. Administer NSAIDs and oral hydration. B. IV hydration and oral caffeine. C. Obtain a cranial MRI immediately. D. Perform epidural blood patch. So answer is D. Perform epidural blood patch. Okay, so 101. Ako, 3 minutes na lang. What is the numerator that is used to compute for the maternal mortality ratio? A. Mothers who delivered to a fetus live or stillborn more than 500 grams. B. Mothers who delivered to a live baby more than 500 grams. C. Mothers who delivered to a preterm and stillborn baby. D. Mothers who delivered regardless of outcome or age of gestation. So C. Answer is D. Mothers who delivered regardless of outcome or age of gestation. Next. G1 delivered to a 500-gram fetus who died on the 16th minute of life. How is the delivery of the fetus characterized? A. Abortion. B. Live birth. C. Miscarriage. D. Stillborn. Answer is live birth. Next. What is the cutoff in days after birth for a death of a neonate to be classified as late neonatal death? A is at 25, B is at 27, C 28, D 29. Answer is 28 days. Next. Which structures are involved in a second degree perineal laceration? A. Anal sphincters and anal mucosa. B. Perineal muscles and anal sphincters. C. Perineal skin and perineal muscles. D. Vaginal mucosa and perineal skin. So answer C. Perineal skin and perineal muscles. Next. Which of the following muscles is not part of the levator ani muscles? Is it A. Coccygeus, B. Iliococcygeus, C. Puborectalis, D. Pubovaginalis? Answer is A. Coccygeus. Next. What condition will most likely result from an unrepaired fourth degree vaginal laceration during a traumatic vaginal delivery? A. Constipation, B. Cystocele, C. Fecal incontinence, D. Stress urinary incontinence. So answer is fecal incontinence. Next. At what level is proteinuria considered significant in a urinalysis of a pregnant patient? A. 150, B. 200, C. 250, D. 300. Answer D. 300. Next. Which of the following is considered normal in carbohydrate metabolism in pregnancy? D. Decreased hepatic gluconeogenesis. B. Hypoinsulinemia. C. Mild fasting hypoglycemia. D. Postprandial hypoglycemia. Answer, mild fasting hypoglycemia. Probably it's 2 p.m. Tatapusin ko siguro up to 110. So 15 numbers siguro yung hindi ko ma-relay sa inyo yung answer kasi may lecture pa kayo after this one eh. So 109, a 25-year-old gravida 1 at 7 weeks AOG has a 10 centimeter ovarian new growth seen on her first ultrasound. When is the best time to schedule her ovarian operation? Is it immediately? B. Second trimester. D. C. Third trimester. D. During the delivery. So answer is second trimester. Okay, so 110, a 30-year-old primipara previously with regular menses consults for amenorrhea. She underwent completion curettage 3 months ago. PE is normal and pregnancy test is negative. Which of the following is a consideration? Is it PCOS? B, is it pregnancy? D, premature ovarian insufficiency? D, synechiae. So answer is Sinikay. Okay, so I will end muna. Hindi ko ma-end. I will end muna here kasi baka nandiyan na si Dr. Atencinco, which is your lecturer for this afternoon. PL is 68 ang MPL. So, the highest of which, alam niyo na ba yung scores nyo? Not yet.
Not yet po, Doc.
Okay, sige. Yeah, I will ask as to when. Pero mukhang maganda naman yung mga exam. Although may isang hindi kasi sa inyo nakapag-exam, so baka kaya hindi pa nilalabas din yung grade nyo. Pero I'm sure iba yung magiging exam niya since feedback. Majority pass naman based on the set MPL, which is 68. Okay? So kung meron kayong ibang questions or numbers dun sa mga na bigay ko sa inyo yung answers, so kindly write the number and give it to Dr. Olivia, Dr. Rowie. So kung may para mai-relay dun sa nagbigay ng questions. Okay? So with that, iwanan ko muna kayo kasi nandito na si Dr. Tansinko, nakikita ko na. Okay. Thank you. Bye. Bye, Eileen.
Thank you po, Doc.
Hi, good afternoon.